So, yesterday, FBI Director James Comey told the House Intelligence Committee there is no information about President Obama wiretapping Trump Tower, wiretapping Trump's car, wiretapping Trump's wife. He has not done his microwave. He hadn't done anything to Trump, okay? And they are investigating, however, Russian involvement in the election. He even answered one of you-know-who's tweets in real time. Look at this.
Thanks to the modern technology that's in front of me right here, I've got a tweet from the president an hour ago saying the NSA and FBI tell Congress that Russia did not influence the electoral process. So that's not quite accurate, that tweet.
I'm sorry, I haven't been following anybody on Twitter while I've been sitting here.
I can read it to you. It says the NSA and FBI tell Congress that Russia did not influence the electoral process.
Well, it's hard for me to react to that. Let me just tell you what we understand the state of what we've said is. We've offered no opinion, have no view, have no information on potential impact because it's never something that we looked at.
I mean, these people are sitting there. They have to be saying, am I in an SNL skit that they're responding to this guy's tweet? This is craziness. And what's even funnier is that, because I was watching the hearing, so I'm watching everything unfold, and then I'm looking at Donald Trump's Twitter, and I'm saying, that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
He was tweeting.
He's tweeting things that didn't make any sense.
He was living in an alternate reality.
But the question is he just being slick and sort of sly and trying to manipulate what's coming out, thinking that people aren't watching the hearings, or is he just delusional?
I think he's pissed off that he's not there. He wants to be there to defend himself. But if he were actually there, he wouldn't have anything to say because he doesn't know anything.
And I actually think, I think you're right. I think your cue about being manipulative. I think the thing is, remember, he views Twitter as his means of getting around the mainstream media.
Yes.
So he views it as, that's my way. So you know what? He's banking on people not watching the hearing, and they're not paying attention, and his version of the story is what's actually happening.
The alternative facts of the
problem is
hearing.
people are tuned in, though, because they're concerned about Russia intercepting our democratic process.
You think
so they're paying attention.
Trump supporters care?
I do, because I would see on conservative media, I was following on Twitter, and they were saying, hold on, that's not what's happening, and they were defending, because there are a lot of conservatives.
They were defending what?
They were defending Comey and saying, no, pay attention. We are concerned about potential
And these are
Russian
Trump
involvement.
voters?
These are Trump voters. I've heard from a lot of Trump voters that have come to me and said, I like some of what he's doing policy-wise, but I'm very concerned about potential collusion with Russia and interception in our democratic process.
His lowered 37% approval rating.
But I also think he's banking on the fact that they're not listening closely enough, because his tweets are just enough off that they mean different things. They said there is an investigation of Russian, meddling in the election. The thing they're not saying is that they don't know how it would have affected the outcome.
Right. And they've always said that.
Right. But the thing is, I think he's trying to manipulate the two to put them together and say, see, that wasn't the case.
The bottom line is, nobody wiretapped your ass.
Yeah. We should apologize. Which was the diversion.
And that was, so maybe, Sean Spicer, I know you don't get this, but perhaps an apology to the former commander-in-chief for accusing him of a federal crime.
Of a felony.
But the problem of a felony.
Of a felony.
The problem for me is, when you know you're wrong, when the FBI, CIA, KFC, LMNP, says this didn't happen, and you double down on the lie.
Yeah.
Because if it means an apology, he's going to go down with the lie.
And he will never apologize. But you know what the big takeaway for me is that the Trump administration is under a criminal FBI investigation. I mean, that is so significant. And what's interesting is I started looking at and revisiting all those times that Trump surrogates said you can't elect someone under FBI investigation. Remember that was a big thing with Hillary? Marco Rubio said, can this country afford to have a president under investigation by the FBI? Think of the trauma that would do to this country. Now what is Marco Rubio saying?
I'm traumatized, Marco. I'm traumatized.
One of the things that's bothering me about this whole thing is that I don't trust Comey.
You don't?
No. He said yesterday that he was investigating the Russian connections in July. He never said that publicly, but he did say they were investigating Hillary's emails, and he turned the election around. I don't like that about him.
He got a lot of backlash for that, though.
Well, he should.
got a lot of
This guy Nunez, I believe it's Nunez. Nunez, who's on the investigation team, along with this guy Adam Schiff, the Democrat versus Republican. He said, he doesn't know who Roger Stone is. Now, I think he's lying. I think he's a liar, because Roger Stone was a consultant to the Trump administration. Roger Stone is a little bots, as we say in my old neighborhood. Roger Stone has a tattoo of Nixon on his back.
Wait, what's a little box?
A little bots, crazy. A little bots. You don't know the
Bots.
word?
B-O-T-Z. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
B-O-X.
I think
Okay.
Un poquito loco.
let me say that bots is probably a Sicilian dialect. There must be a real word in Italian for it.
Yes, but you can't say it live on television.
Okay.
Let's go back to the bots.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think that these people should be investigating this. I think they need a special prosecutor. Somebody.
They
Yeah.
need that, but I'm
You do. I do
actually
agree with you,
happy
yes.
with Comey. I'm happy with him because he's proved himself to be
Better than you thought.
Well, I know that I didn't like what he did with Hillary. You know,
No.
but now to me, I see that he's not dealing with whether he likes you or not. He's dealing with the law.
He's
That's
trying
always
to be
been his
consistent.
reputation.
And that's what I see. I didn't like what he did, but for him, he was acting within his law. The rest of these folks, I don't know what the hell's going on.